Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. We had once again a little issue getting on Facebook, but we are on Facebook now. I just had to do it in the middle of it. So for those of you on Facebook, you probably missed the intro, our fabulous intro. So good morning. I am the badass Buddha Lori Monaco, coming to you from a wet and rainy Eastern Tennessee, but the temperature is fabulous. It's almost 60 already. And Gladiator Guru would definitely like this weather. It's completely up her alley. And to add to the ambiance, the fact that we have a metal roof, so you hear it hitting the metal roof. And
my favorite.
It's really pretty. Good morning, Kathy, and good morning, Milagros.
Buenos días, mi gente, aquí con la Margarita, your Gladiator Guru. It's been raining here since last night, so it is a bit gloomy. So, buenos días, mi gente, Milagrito, Kathy, Yaya. So, yes, it's, I miss my tin roof, actually. If there's anything I miss, it's the sound of the rain coming through the tin roof. So, enjoy it, because not everybody does have that glimpse of serenity.
Ah, nice. I like how you did that. Well, so yes, today is we're talking Serenity now. And again, those of you that ever watched Seinfeld, that was an episode in Seinfeld where they would, when they were stressed out, they would say Serenity now. And we're going to talk about controlling your emotions and understanding them too. It's not just about controlling, because really controlling is an illusion. It's more about regulating them. That's really the better word, is to say that we'll regulate them. And it's not that we're going to dishonor them by saying you can't have those emotions. It's about regulating them and having a better understanding of self, to know that when you want to actually, react strongly when it needs to happen, and when you're doing it too much and for not good enough reasons. So we'll get to that shortly. We haven't done our mantra.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to, right?
Yes, we do. Absolutely.
All right. Let me just type in everything.
I know, I'm posting it on Facebook too.
Oh, look at Lily Elizabeth wrote a really nice thing to Milagros. Oh, that's nice. Let me just get everybody in here. Oops, sorry.
Who is Lily Elizabeth?
I don't know. That's what she put.
Delete. She's one of those psychic things.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
We get them all the time.
Ah. Oh yeah, look, she's going after Yaya too.
Yeah.
All right, no worries. Haven't seen one of those in a while. Good morning, Priscilla. My beautiful Priscilla is on this morning, and I appreciate that. I always love when my friends come on. I have to say that majority of the people that come on are definitely due to Gladiator Guru's presence, for sure. Okay. And Desiree, we haven't seen Desiree in a while. Good morning, Desiree. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm not balancing correctly today. Okay, here we go. Let's do our mantra. Say it loud and say it proud. I am a disruptor.
I am a disruptor.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am magically orgasmic.
Ole.
And I keep it real.
All day, no doubt.
And we did it backwards today. So let's not forget that to live a fulfilled life, it's important to be intentional in your day. So let's set our intention for today, whatever that intention may be. Set your intention for today, and make sure you go with.
And make sure that your intentions are created with gratitude for where you are at this very moment. Not where you want to be, not where you were, but where you are.
Very nice.
That's a true set intention.
Make sure that you like, follow, subscribe. Remember, we are really trying to up our YouTube channel. Let me see. Trying to up our YouTube channel presence. So get on YouTube and get involved with us. Okay, I got to take care of a situation. Gladiator Guru, just start to talk about what we're going to talk about now. I've got to fix the situation here at my house.
Okay.
Thank you.
We all crave peace, and we get upset when it's interrupted. And then we feel that everywhere we go, there's chaos, or there's a mess, or there's this and there's that. Sometimes you need to sit down and wonder if it's everywhere you go, maybe you are the one. And with that, we have to find where it is that we have the serenity. I've mentioned a lot what I've learned from a movie, Point of No Return, is very, very old. And somebody with a very bad temper. And she learned where she would say, I never did let the little things bother me. And she was doing it with a smile. If any of you today are in a situation where you're aggravated, whether it be in traffic, whether it be at work and you had a rude coworker or a customer, I don't care what it is. It could be a million and one things. It could be you stubbing your toe. And instead of allowing all that anger to come in and blah, 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 because I'm guilty of that, just smile. Smile and be intentional in your smile. And only focus on your smiling, even though you're in pain or gravely upset. And you're going to notice how quickly it dissipates all the negativity, all that whatever you were doing. And all of a sudden, there's a peace. And then you smile even more because guess what? You did that. You did that. You brought that upon you. Whether it was people who got you upset on the outside, or again, you spilled your coffee, you stubbed your toe. Doesn't matter. But anything that's going to bring you outside of peace, outside of serenity, you got to combat it. Remember, the biggest war you will ever battle is with yourself. So just smile. And take deep breaths. And I don't care if you say, me cago en la puta madre que te vuelva a parir. And you're going to feel a difference in your whole vibration. And it's going to come up. And then I swear to you, you will smile after the fact, whether you had to clean up the coffee spilled or you rubbed your toe, whatever the event is. And you're going to smile again because you did that. So we have some good, we have a list. Each of us made a list of how you can claim that calm. Hi, Gail. You know, I have a 10 ideas of how to activate the inner peace. Badass Buddha was really, really so focused. She was ignoring me and making her listen when she was writing. Because let me tell you something, we're still in January. And I think that the just, repetition to me, sometimes you got to hear something 2, 3, maybe 6 times before it settles in, like, oh, like that epiphany. Like that epiphany. Because every time I read The Alchemist, I'm like, oh, how come I didn't see that the other 9 times I read it? So sometimes when we pick up something, we already have an idea in our head, what we're looking for, what our expectations are, what that word's about. And then as we're doing whatever it is we're excited to do because of expectations, because of this, it doesn't taste right. It doesn't have enough seasoning, or it might have been cooked too much and now it's rough and you don't want to chew it and you spit it out. That's what happens. So I think never give up on yourself. Serenity is to learn. When you learn who you are, that serenity comes. When you learn what you will and will not tolerate, serenity comes, because nobody can break your barrier. They can act, you can go to the circus, and by that I mean some of us, the circus is work or a family gathering.
It's life. It's their life.
And you can sit there and you can say, oh my God, unfortunately, I know them, but these are not my monkeys and this ain't my fucking circus. That's how you create your boundaries. You don't have to participate. You don't have to be present. You can make your appearance, give your respects to whoever you have to give your respects to, and then know when it's time to leave. You don't have to stay there the whole time. Remember, you are in charge. That is how you maintain your peace and invite your power back. You have to be so proactive in your life, and we just spoke of this before the show came on, that in order to be comfortable, you have to do the uncomfortable to get to the other side. Like the badass Buddha walked on hot coals, or they were on fire, right?
No, hot coals. Yep.
So even thinking about it, you're like, fuck no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this. And guess what? It seems impossible until you get it done. And then she walked over it and she's like, oh my God. Like it in my head, it was 50 times worse than it actually was. And I'm sure it hurt. It's hot coals. We're not used to walking on hot coals.
It actually didn't. It didn't. It only did when I realized in the middle of it that I was walking over them, and I felt one little pain in my foot. And then I think, I was at the end. I don't remember anything else. And to be honest with you, I wasn't afraid to do it. They get you so hyped up that you don't even think twice about it. You're just so excited about doing it. And they play like African drum music, and it's just real loud. And it's just like, now, if I was to do it now, it's a different story. Like there would be too much play in my head, getting in the way of all of it. So it would be a definite. I would imagine that I would definitely be more fearful trying to do it this time around, even though I know I did it.
And I love that you said that. You know why? Because we all think we want to do something, but we really don't, or we feel we shouldn't do something, but it ends up really nice, but you're never going to know until you do it.
Yeah.
And that is, look at Gail said, when I got comfortable with being uncomfortable, my life expanded. Absolutely. Let me tell you something. Just recently, I let go of everything, except my car. I'm sleeping here. I'm in my sister's basement. Love it. Very full, but I sleep, my choice. I sleep on a love seat. 10 years of caregiving, I slept either on a couch or a recliner. So a bed really, really affects me. It just, I don't know. It's painful for me. But let me tell you, that was so uncomfortable for me. And now I have nothing but my car to claim, to call my own. But I can get up and go anywhere, sashay my ass down anywhere, and I don't have to worry about anything. Oh, every love. My niece is taking care of every love, but I'll be in Florida next week together, my plant. So that was very uncomfortable. Even the thought of it was uncomfortable, even though I knew I had to do it. And then I did it. And then I didn't leave the room for almost 2 days. I didn't even tell nobody that I just got rid of everything. Just sat in my niece's room. By that, I mean my room. And then I was like, what's going to happen? You know how that little demon over here. And then the other one's like, it's okay. And then I got up, and that's when I just purchased my ticket to Spain. But what I'm saying is change is so uncomfortable. Even the change I'm in now. And the badass Buddha and I spoke, and it's confusing. It's everything. But I knew I had to just sit with myself. Headaches every day, all day. And let me tell you, you have to be uncomfortable, and you have to be comfortable being displaced and uncomfortable. Right, badass?
Mm-hmm. Well, think of it this way. You're talking about comfortable and being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And my question to everybody out there is, how comfortable are you currently with your emotional regulation right now? Like, do you feel like you fly off the handle really easily? Do you feel like you're crying 1 minute, you're angry another minute? And if that's not comfortable, like if you're not comfortable with that, then you're living in the discomfort. So what would be the difference if you made the effort to change and get out of your comfort zone? So like the reality is that that moodiness and that dysregulation has become so habitual that it's comfortable. Even though you may say to yourself, I really don't like myself being this way. I don't like having emotional outbursts or feeling like I can't control myself, but it became comfortable for you. And to delve into the why behind it. Why do we have trouble regulating our emotions properly? And you have to think back to, were you always this way? You know, have you been this way since you were a child? Were you like this in your teens? Teens don't count because teens are so moody anyway, and they have so many hormones. But how about 20s and 30s? Were you like that? And then if you say to yourself, you know, honestly, I was a little on the moody side, although I'm far worse now. Look back and say to yourself, what was going on? Like what was really happening? Because I believe personally that emotional regulation stems from us giving up power, emotional dysregulation is from giving up power, feeling like we're not being heard, and not living a life that we're meant to live. And it could be our own doing, and most of the time it is our own doing. Remember, it's like we allow people to influence us. That could be part of it too, is the fact that we allowed things to happen in and throughout our life. And then it builds up as we age, and we look at our life and we say, I'm not happy. I'm miserable. I'm not really happy. You don't want to admit it sometimes, but that's what it is. And then you get angry, then you get sad, then you're happy one minute. And it almost seems like, you know, you need to go to a therapist and be on like massive medication because you're all over the place. And the thing is that is our world. Those are the people around us. And maybe instead of us jumping right onto the meds, is to stop and say, okay, I have to acknowledge this. Like I have to acknowledge the fact that I'm all over the place and I am not regulating my emotions well. So why is that? What's going on? What's going on in my head? What's going on in my environment? And it is challenging because it's everything. It is your past, it is your present, and it is your future. Because the past stuff is what brought you to where you are right now. The present stuff is fueling the past stuff. And then we futurize because we assume that whatever's happening now is going to happen in the future. And then so that stresses us out even more. So once you come to recognize the challenges with regulation that you're having, then you have to face your reality in your present time. You have to face who you are at this moment in time, why you are this person at this time. You also have to look at your environment. And it's interesting because this is coming up for me a lot. I've been very, very, my regulation has been very poor. And the irony is I'm by myself. So it's like I have just my youngest child with me. You would think that all that peace and quiet would help, but it has, but it's also brought up some challenges. And I'm constantly challenged by the environment. You know, I have my two dogs and my sister's dog that I'm taking care of. And every day, 2 out of the 3 challenge me. Every single day, 2 out of the 3 challenge me. And every morning I wake up and say, I'm going to breathe. I'm going to stay calm. And then something, one of the pets triggers it because they're so out of control that, and then I've been around any animals enough to know that they also go against, they go with how you're feeling. Right. So I'm keeping it calm. But then all of a sudden one, the little one, especially because it's a puppy, is fine. And then all of a sudden not, so I'm constantly being challenged and I'm throwing my hands up going, God, seriously, like I'm trying here. I really am trying, but this is not helping the situation. So we're going to talk about a little bit about environment as well. And if you'll indulge me, Gladiator Girl, I know I've been talking. I just wanted to see what's been written because I saw some stuff coming up. Catherine Marie says, nice, I agree completely. My highest growth has been uncomfortable, still in the process. Gail says, when the pain of change is less than the pain I am in, there's a story. Gail says sometimes emotional dysregulation happens because I want to be in control. Absolutely. That's the illusion of control. That's why I corrected myself, because we can't control our emotions. All we can do is regulate them and flow with them. Catherine Marie says, correct, to be uncomfortable, even trying to get out of the regular toxic familiarity. I am changing every aspect in my life. I'm diving deeper to educate and practice small steps to undo ways my faith has grown. I'm learning to do the steps, and it's okay for me to feel and regain my inner peace. Beautiful. Good morning, Argenis and Ivica. You're on mute, my love, my beautiful friend.
Saying good morning to my son-in-law, Henny. Good morning. Dios te bendiga. Yes, it's true. But what they said, Gail, absolutely. You know, if you think about what's upsetting you, why it's upsetting you, why are you getting so bothered because somebody is doing something that you feel they shouldn't be doing? It's all about you. I could be doing something that might be wrong, but you getting so bent up out of shape, it's you. Why are you so concerned about what somebody's doing, saying, or not doing? Is it hindering you? Is your health at risk? Is your life at risk? Ask yourself those questions, because our control, because I was highly opinion. Anybody who knows me know I was that person. Boom, 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 and that's it. Fix it. Do it. I don't want to hear shit. And so when I sit back and I observe, that's what it is. You're upsetting yourself, and then you're putting somebody's name to it. Point blank, period. Because why? How can someone annoy you to the point where you want to slam things, when you want to take off, blast your music, get a drink, smoke a joint, whatever your venom is? It's because we want to control shit, and when you're so focused on controlling everything outside of you, is because you don't want to face who you are. You're avoiding yourself. Because if you were busy fixing you, if you were busy tending to you, if you were busy nurturing you, you wouldn't have time for the bullshit outside of you. It's just that serious, and it's that simple. So things will bother us. Like, I'm babysitting the dog my son inherited from his father, who passed away last week. So you know what? Yeah, it's not to be picking up poop all the damn time. So now I'm babysitting a dog. So does that? I'm like, every time I see her, it's like,
Oh my gosh.
and she's the cutest thing, but we're, and then you got to say, we're not home, we're in someone else, and I got to pay for the carpet to get cleaned, and I got to pick up poop everywhere. But am I upset? No, because I had the choice to say, you better take that dog to someone who wants to watch him. But I was like, okay, you know what? I know this is what's happening. This is the scenario. How can I help? And that's what I'm doing. So, but then you still got to take a step back. I chose to do this. So all I can do is get upset at the fact that I'd be picking up shit all over the place, but not at the fact that I'm staying with him, because I chose to say, okay, I'll watch her for you. You know what I mean? So it's not her fault. She just lost her best friend and daddy. Okay. After he passed, like for a day and a half, she would not leave his bedroom, his bed, and she kept smelling and scraping, like, where are you? Like, trying to dig through the mattress to find him. And then she's out of her home. She's with 2 other dogs here. My sister has 2 other Yorkies. She's surrounded by a whole different ambiance. So it's not her fault at all. So we take her out. She goes to the bathroom. But I think, when a dog feels lonely, or they feel like abandoned, or nobody's around, of course, she don't know me either. She just met me. So I'm saying I'm not even upset at the dog. I don't like that I have to pick up poop. That's what I'm saying. I know my boundary. I know what it is. But that's why I say I take a step back as I'm picking it up, to say just that. I chose to stay with her. She's in a whole new environment. She doesn't know anybody here, because she never left her daddy's side. And my son isn't staying here. So it's, It's a whole thing. And I think doggies know so much. So it's not even the dog, it's what I have to do because of the dog. But in that, we still have to tell ourselves, what are you doing? Chill. Why is this dog here? Did I agree to this? Yeah. So when you agree to do something, there's going to be stuff that you're not familiar with or don't want to do or whatever the case may be. But instead of getting angry and taking, like telling my son, take your dog, whatever, where's he going to go? Where's she going to go? So what we do is we tell ourselves, okay, this is what I chose. I accepted this challenge. Let's see how well I do. And that's it. That's it. It's going to happen. To be uncomfortable, I think it's the best teacher you're going to have in that situation you're being uncomfortable in. Because we were talking and you said something important about us, the environment. You know, when we're seeking now at my age, inner peace and sitting in my peace and sitting in that silence, because the silence speaks volumes. Never think silent is silent. That's so silly. What is silent spelled? It's listen. Same amount of words. Silent, and then you Scrabble it, play Scrabble, it means listen. We
That's
don't take
nice.
that
Never
time.
really thought about that, but that's true.
So to me, the silence always whispers louder than someone actually saying something to me, or actually me thinking I'm like saying something so prophetic. So, and that's what we teach. But remember, in my generation, it was chaos, it was drama, it was violence. So then you maneuver through life, and you're like, well, I don't know, because that became so second nature. That's like the beavers to me. My home situation was like the fucking beavers. So when I watch a show like the beavers, I'm like, they're so fake because you ever watch the beavers? White picket fence, mother always
Oh,
bakes.
Leave It to Beaver. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. No, it was before my time, and it was really cheesy.
But that's what I'm saying. When you grow up the way I grew up, and you watch that, and you're like, wow, like that. Like I went through a neighborhood, and I'm like, I'm getting the feeling of the Stepford Wives because that was so
Yeah, now that, yes,
unnatural to me,
yes.
So I grew up on the opposite side of the spectrum, and then you change and you learn through trial and error, and you learn how to let that go. But then you get to a place where it's no longer like the pendulum swinging. Okay, this is where you're at. This is where you're going. You can't go too far. You can't do this. So we have to unlearn the learned behaviors, whether it's inherited from our childhood or it's shit we picked up along the way because of the poor choices of groups we were sharing our lives with. So that's what you have to you have to sit with yourself. If you want inner peace, stop lying to yourself. You want to find that road towards inner peace, show up for yourself,
Yeah.
because nobody can give it. You can listen to 50 podcasts a day of females telling you boom boom boom, and nothing, it's just gonna go boop boop and out. And some little things are like, don't let nobody get you down, so build yourself up. And the only thing you're going to retain is don't let nobody get you down. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if that has not happened to any one of us at any given time. You didn't hear the beginning or the end because that is what you're used to. That is what you're comfortable with. I ain't let nobody walk all over me. But not the important part. If you know who you are, then no one can get over on you. If you respect your values, nobody can steer you the wrong way, but will only listen to that. So, do you have your list?
I do. I do. I also want to one thing I want to add to that too is that uh, society does not help the situation either, and this is why we have to take personal responsibility for ourselves, which is what personal responsibility is. We have to take responsibility for self because we have to decide that this is not like we have to decide that we're not we're not okay with how we're regulating our emotions, because society gives us permission to behave badly. Society gives us permission to fly off the handle at any stupid little thing. Society gives us permission to be upset about something, or say we're too sensitive, or we can't handle something. And we have been given permission and permission and permission. And now it's become socially accepted. It's become socially accepted for a person to just for a child to have an outburst in a class and start flinging around things because there's no consequences of actions. Now, we can't control those things. All we can do is control ourselves. So that means that we have to also step up and say, we have to have consequences of our own actions. So if I say to myself, I don't like, behaving a certain way, when it's absolute and needs to happen, then yes. But most of the time, me swinging from one end to the other doesn't really need to happen on a daily basis. So if I'm not happy with that person, then I have to have consequences for my actions. And what does that mean? But it's about awareness, and that's where it starts. So it all starts with you being aware, saying, I don't like this side of me. I don't like how I am, because I know that doesn't represent me. Some people could say, well, it's not good to say you don't like something about yourself. I think it is okay, because you're being honest with yourself. This is what I want to be. This person who I'm being right now is not representative of the person that I want to be. So you identify that. So it's about practicing mindfulness. It's being aware, it's acknowledging, it's accepting, it's taking accountability. Then it is like, look at the impact. I have 3 articles that I kind of copied from. And normally I cite where I got the info from, but I was doing it so late, I didn't even get a chance. So one of them says, look at the impact of your emotions. How is it impacting you? How's it impacting your environment? Meaning the people around you, the house that you live in, the work that you go to. We've grown up in a society that says, well, if I want to do this, I have every right to feel the way I do. You do. But the question is it accurate? Like, are you overreacting for something that doesn't need to be overreacted to? We have to take personal responsibility and say, okay, that's enough. I don't want to behave that way. And I'm not going to give myself permission to behave that way because everybody else is doing it. Okay. So, or I say, I don't worry about what other people think. It's, I don't care what their opinion is. We're not telling you to care what their opinion is. We're telling you to care about your opinion, So if you want to be that grandiose jackass and always be in a bad mood and yelling at people and short with people, then you do you. But I have the right to keep you out of my space, because that's not how, I don't want you in it, period. And I'm not going to argue with you and be in it all the time. I'm just going to say, you do you, I'll do me. Don't impose on me. I'm not going to tell you to change yourself. I just don't want to be around that. So it is about being honest with ourselves. Aim for regulation, not repression or suppression. Don't just regulate. Just say, I want to understand this better, and I want to be able to shift myself better, not suppress it and say, I can't feel that way. I can't do this. I can't react this way. Identify what you're feeling. Accept your emotions, all of them, even the ones you don't like. Keep a mood journal if you have to, or if it helps, rather. Take a deep breath. Sometimes just stopping, walking away from the situation and taking a breath is the necessity. Know when to express yourself. Give yourself some space. Try meditation. And if meditation, that word freaks you out, prayer, sitting quietly. That's all the same thing. Okay. Stay on top of your stress. Identify the things that you know are known stressors for you and how they impact your life on the daily. Like, I know that waking up every morning and then having to work with these dogs is stressful. But I also know, like, my old dog can't help it. The puppy can't help it necessarily. I am the alpha in this relationship right now. And if there's certain behaviors that are not working for me, I have to figure out ways to deal with it and work through it. And I'm trying to avoid the use of the word control, but to impact those that I'm
Like
working
that.
with to make better decisions, you know? So it's, I have to be aware that there are choices. And that's the other thing. When we feel powerless, which is what causes emotional dysregulation a lot of times, it's also because we believe we have no choice, that this is the way it is and I got to deal with this and I don't want to deal with it anymore. And especially if you have grown and you've really come into yourself and said, I really can't do this anymore, but you are still in it. That's when you have to sit and you have to decide, how can I get out of this? What changes can I now make? And those are the uncomfortable ones. Those are the big ones.
You're done?
Yeah, go ahead and talk. And then I do have a couple of other things.
Well, go ahead. You were on a roll.
I missed. It says, look for positive emotions. If you need help, go to a therapist. You know, I mean, if you need help, go to a therapist, and don't jump on the medication wagon, because a lot of times it really isn't a chemical imbalance. It is a you imbalance. It is your life imbalance. So I added for my own, give yourself quiet time. Avoid things to a certain level. Now, I'm not a big fan of avoidance, because avoidance, it's always going to come back and bite you. But sometimes we do need to avoid a situation or people or our environment enough to where we can build our base up a little bit more, heal a little bit more. So if you have to avoid, because especially if it's certain things that trigger you, and again, that word trigger just means you haven't finished fixing it. But if you know certain things or certain people trigger you, then you know that you have not dealt with it. So take the time to deal with it. Pull yourself away from those situations, if at all possible, so that you can build up. And then the next time you're exposed to it, allow yourself to be exposed to it, see how you do. And then if you're still not quite where you want to be, then you're going to have to avoid and do some more work on yourself. And then never forget to breathe. That's a big one. So
Never.
Go ahead, girl.
Gail, I agree. Thank you, Jaya. And yes, hug a tree. That's what I wrote when she said that about
the tree.
The medication. You know, it's a vibration imbalance. It is not a brain imbalance or a chemical imbalance. Don't fall for the okey doke. Let me tell you, every time I hug a tree and I put my forehead to it and I let go, I'm always dizzy. It's like I was just given a shot of this energy and it went to my head. And when I crossed over from France, that part of Spain is still like French, Roncesvalles, and then you walk into the forest and it was still so green and the moss was like evergreen and emerald colors. And I stopped before I went any further and I put my hands on the trees and I thanked it. And then I asked for permission and then I thanked it for entering its realm, because the energy in any forest is so overpowering that some people, that you wonder how you trip or nothing. So, and that's what I believe. When you're feeling down, go outside, go barefoot. You know what? Drive to the beach and put your feet in the sand and let it tickle you or whatever. Walk along the edge of the waves. There's so many things, which leads me into what my list, ways to create calmness. Because if you're calm, then any scenario that comes your way, you're gonna real quick surmise it and say, I'm out, or thank you, but I have a change of plans. Boom, boom, boom. So you can, with your calm, it is an absence of anxiety. When you learn to be calm, you learn to let go of the anxiety, because what is anxiety? It is the fear of fear. So you got your pens ready? Please tell me you have your pens ready or your notepad on your phone. One, and it's a 1 minute breathing exercise to a gentle rub of your foot or your feet. And they're just 10 list of inner peace that you can find. And here we go. 1, take conscious breaths. Go ahead, badass. We got to get back to at least once a month, the badass leading us into a breathing thing like we used to do 2 years ago. So
Take what kind of breaths?
take a conscious breath.
Oh, conscious. Yes.
Yeah. So it says reduce tension quickly by focusing on the breath. Like sometimes when I make my Viva and 5 and I breathe, I would look at myself. I'm like, oh my God, I look so erotic. Because when you go, I can
Magically
say that to
orgasmic.
myself, because it's conscious. Take a deep breath fully into your chest and abdomen and then slowly exhale. It's about slowly. I tell people when you take a breath in, count to 7. 7 is just a wonderful, magical, blessed number. And then when you exhale, count to 7. And like that, you're doing it slowly because people don't know, well, what's slower? I can't hold it. Okay. By giving attention to your breath, you take it away from the crises. The extra oxygen circulating through your body encourages clearer thoughts. Now, let me tell you, my great nephew that I stay with in Florida, Mateo, he would come into the room. He's 6. He would come, but I've been with him forever since I guess he was a couple months old. But I always would say something to him. And when he would get upset or when he would cry because he didn't get his way, I was like, breathe. Come on, let's breathe. Let's breathe. Breathe in. When his mom would get upset, I would text her, breathe. And breathe out. I text that to my kids all the time when they're like, breathe. 2 reasons. They're getting a hold of their emotions and they ain't pouring shit into my cup. Smart, right? Always double-edged sword. I am.
Two-pronged solution.
So Mateo has been having a problem. His mom came down here when my kid's father passed away last week. Was it last week? 2 weeks ago, the 5th. Oh my God, I can't believe how quick everything goes. So she was here for like 7 days. She gets back. He starts crying. He don't got to go to school. She starts reminding him to breathe. So I'm on the phone with him the night before last. I said, how you doing? He's like, I was crying, Titi Margie, but I was breathing. So it was yesterday morning because Savannah was crying to go to school. He's like, Savannah, you got to do like me. You got to breathe, Savannah. Breathe. So let me tell you, if a 6-year-old has understand that concept and he's in a classroom with 30 kids, and I told my niece, stop yelling at him. He is riddled with anxiety. He probably feels neglected too. But anyway, that's a whole other show. 2, press away the pressure. Acupressure, it's like acupuncture, but using touch instead of needles. Can be helpful in a challenging situation. So what I've done to help me in the past is, you just press right here. And I didn't learn that from any book. I learned that from a movie. This gangster who was trying not to be a gangster. And they were tempting his gangster. And he was rubbing right here, the web of your thumb and your forefinger. And your index finger, rub your thumb or a chosen crystal firmly over the palm of your opposite hand and repeat several times. Okay? And it does help. So drop into your body. Be conscious of how you feel and how your body feels during a difficult situation. When you are holding tension, what happens? Your anger grows. The ugly comes out. Them demons come out to play, right? Is it in your jaw, neck, shoulders, or stomach? Sit with the frustration, anger, or whatever you're feeling. Notice those tense areas and try to relax the muscles so that you move more at ease. Me, you know what I do? Hey, sacude all that lethargic, negative, evil energy off of me. But I start here, I go over my head, I'm grabbing it, the back of my neck, away. And then you go down each arm, your chest, your stomach, your legs, all the way down to the tip of your feet. That's how I do that. Everybody's different. Repeat several times, right? So then sit with the frustration, notice the tense areas, And you can feel when you are proactive in your life, you may not have to understand it, but you just know you feel like a monkey's on your back. Your arm feels like it's being pulled down. Your thighs feel like you have cinder blocks on them. You don't want to move. You just want to sit there and like an overcooked spaghetti. We don't got time for that shit. Get up, sacude, breathe, do that, rub this, get your crystal, whatever works for you. Father God, please help me. I don't understand what's happening with me right now. Whatever works for you, okay? Get creative, immerse yourself in any art practice, whether you sketch, paint, write, knit, compose, play music. Being creative focuses attention all day. That was the first thing I said to Badass this morning. Because my mind has been doing somersaults. I didn't even know that part of my body was a gymnast. It was doing all kinds of stuff. It fell, it got hurt, did a twist too much, headache, all this kind of stuff. And I kept saying, I want to write, but I can't. I can't seem to sit. I can't even nap. I can't. And then last night I started painting, and I was like, oh, you know, when you watch those movies and they go, oh, then you see all the streams of light shooting up. That's what happened. Pause and be open. You're in the middle of an argument or confrontation and feel irritated or anger rising, take a moment to sit with those feelings and how you're reacting to the other person. This might feel challenging at times, but be compassionate. Notice the other person, listen to them, try to understand what they're feeling, find some connection, and open your heart. This is easier to achieve when you're calmly aware. And I agree with that, and that's totally good. But then on the other hand, I also want to tell you, if somebody's dumping their shit on you because they're angry for whatever reason and you're their target, shut them down. Shut them down. You can either ignore it, but I advise against that. You always got to be confrontational, right? I will not tolerate this. Whatever makes you feel strong, I will not. This is, that's your issue. Fix it, whatever, or just plain simple. No, and that's it. Because we don't need to absorb anybody's bullshit, nor does anybody need to accept ours. And when you are fully aware of that, then you are fully in your presence. Take up yoga or Tai Chi. Today, I have to go down to the senior center down the hill and sign up to the senior center before I could sign up for the yoga class that they have at the senior center. But that's what's happening today. Let's dance. Dance always makes you feel good. Be in nature. We all agree with that. We all love it. Sitting on a park bench, listening to bird songs. That's what I miss about being in Florida. Going for a long walk on the beach, watching the tide lapping the shore. Our gentle ways of restoring equilibrium. Just a short time spent in the natural world is all it takes to lower stress levels, improve your mood, boost feelings of happiness. And then, so that is all you got to remember before you ask me, why do you love the Camino de Santiago so much? It is not fun. It is not a vacation. It is not like, ooh, we get to see this. It is painful. It is hard work. It's bullshit. But you walk and you walk and you push yourself past the pain, but you're in nature. And I think that's the best part of it. Laugh more. Everybody knows laughter is my favorite song. I keep it on repeat. I even laugh when I'm angry, girl. When you see me laughing like that, run. I just laugh. It sounds simple, but laughter relaxes your whole body. It can diffuse tense feelings. A good hearty chuckle can also lighten burdens, release anger, and connect you to others, helping you to view life's frustration from a more enlightened perspective. I love that word is in there. Enlightened perspective. Make space in life for laugh out loud activities that you love. Don't they have groups, Badass, that you go and you pay and then you sit with people and all you do is laugh?
Yeah, I used to teach a laughing yoga class, actually.
Look at that. Francia, buenos días. And number 9, very simple, go for a walk. A brisk stroll is an effective way to encourage life stresses to run out of steam. Just like any other cardiovascular activity, walking boosts the production of stress-busting endorphins. With each mindful football, strong feelings, footfall.
I was going to say football.
Yeah, with each mindful step, strong feelings and tensions can quickly dissipate. Very true. Very true. And number 10 is give yourself a foot rub. Treat yourself to a foot rub using lavender or chamomile oils with sweet almond. Massage your feet, paying attention to the areas around the big toe, which energetically represents the head and neck area. The big toe. The joint below the little toe is the shoulders, and under the foot arch is the stomach. For those who don't have an arch, it's right here in the middle. Arch. I have arch. So this is, it's all about you and nature, because nature is the best doctor. The sun, the moon, the sounds of water, the sounds of the leaves rustling, the smell when you walk in the forest of just the greenery, of flowers or whatever. And you know what? Even the rain. Go dance in the rain, even if it's quick. But you got to do it for you. And I have met so many people, including my daughter-in-law, which I hope she's on. They're afraid of every little bug. Why? We're in their space. And that's how I say it. So for you, I would say 5 things that you should not be sharing when you're heading into this thing. It's just little stupid stuff. Bake something and donate it, or bring it to work and put it there. You don't have to claim it. Knit yourself a sweater and don't show nobody. Like today, I showed Badass my painting, and because I love sharing I get excited. But sometimes you need to enjoy that. So don't share it. Just bask in it for a moment. Sometimes we do something great, we create something beautiful, and then we put it out there into the world. And then we wonder why we lose interest, or we lose the essence of beauty of it, because we didn't sit with it. We didn't embrace it. So that's what we want to do for you with Serenity now. This is what we're sharing. Sit with yourself. Embrace yourself. You're the best medicine doctor in your world. You know what you need. You're just navigating how to get there. Go sit in nature. We all have some kind of dirt in our yard. But self-hugs is great, Kathy. I still wake up every morning. Good morning, beautiful. Every morning. No matter how bad I feel. And that's it. Because I got to love me. And everything. So, Badass. Because I didn't get to read everything people wrote.
Oh no, it's just, they're just little blobs here and there. Like Kathy's saying, I love lotion on my hands and arms and smelling it first. Picture books are great. Talk to your body, self hugs. I love the no, shake it off, dance, listen to music. In other words, if you're feeling powerless, if that's the main reason you've identified with your emotional dysregulation, then you've got to figure out ways to bring your power back. And part of that is writing a list of what is important to you, and then making sure that you're doing a few of those every single day. And like, I know for me, I'm a nature person. If I'm cooped up in the house too long, it definitely affects me. And we've had some really cold weather down here. I mean, it was single digits overnight. I mean, one night it was 1 degree. And then during the day it was teens. And I would, you just get out, like let the dog out and then come back in. And it wasn't easy. Plus it was snowy. There was icy. And well, yesterday morning, I woke up and I let the dog out and it was already nice and warm. And by mid-morning, the sun was blazing and the temperature was working its way up to being almost 70. And then it hit 70. Then it started to cloud a little bit. But I stepped outside when it was sunny and I just let it hit me. And I'm like, this is incredible. This is incredible, because a week ago it was 12 degrees and now it's almost 70 and it's sunny and it melted the snow, and I just took it in. And it was so necessary for me. But here's what I noticed is that I didn't want it to end. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to have to go back inside. I didn't want to have to do what I was doing. And I know for me that that's been one of the biggest challenges, again, is not being true to myself, is not saying what I need to say, not doing what I want to do, and not giving up my power, even though I think I have my power, but truly I'm still not quite there. And in that moment, that sun made me feel powerful. It made me feel like I was a solar panel or something, regenerating energy. And so what does that mean for me? And I didn't sit with it because I had a lot to do yesterday, but I have to do that. I must do that for myself. I have to sit with myself and say, what did that mean? Why did I feel that way? What does that mean going forward? How would I be able to shift my energetic vibration? Because that's exactly what I did at that moment, to that level, even on a day that's cloudy, even if it's not the right temperature. But how do I do that? Or if I'm in a situation or around people that I find are messing with my energy, really I'm allowing them to mess with my energy because my energy wasn't really good to start with. And how am I contributing to the situation myself? Because I can't assume that all their energy is the problem. I have to take responsibility and accountability for my energy, knowing that maybe I'm the problem, and what am I going to do about that? That's why when I mentioned about looking at the impact of your emotions, how are your emotions impacting your life as well as the life of those around you? Because if, I was doing homework with my daughter, my little one, and I don't have a lot of patience doing homework with her. And I thought a couple times I snapped at her, and I looked at her face and I was like, what point is this? Like, why am I snapping at her? Because she's not doing what I want her to do or whatever. And so I had to own up to it. I had to apologize, but that's not enough, because if I keep doing it, that's just an abusive pattern. That's the other part you have to acknowledge, is the fact that I could sit there and apologize now, but the next time we do it, I have to be cognizant of saying, the next time I sit with her, I have to stay calm. And if she's not doing the way that I want it done, I have to, I can say to her calmly, hey, why don't you try this, or not get frustrated how sloppy she is or whatever. So that's the difference, is being mindful, aware, and knowing that the next time around, I have to do better.
Yes. And I think with anything, you have to be still and listen. Okay, just be still and listen, because you speak to yourself, but you get angry when somebody ignores you or disregards you, but you're doing it to yourself every day.
Yes.
So you know what? It's time to narrow the root of the problem down, and it's always going to be the reflection in the mirror.
Yes.
So dedicate time to yourself. You're the most important person in your life. You need to take time out for yourself daily. You need to give gratitude when you're setting your intentions. You need to set intentions so that it'll remind you to be grateful. I mean, it's a job, but it is a job that you will benefit until your last breath, because you are the biggest project you will ever land. You are the most expensive contract that will ever be paid out to yourself. You are that 7-figure paycheck, even though you're working part-time right now. You are all those great things that you need and feel to seek outside of you. Because if you invest all of that purpose back into yourself and learn exactly how you are, the way you go when you learn somebody's job description and you do it to a T, and 3 years later you still didn't get the raise, that's how you need to identify who the hell you are.
Yes.
What you need to do. I'm working on a thing, but there's the pros and cons of every situation in your life. And when you write it down, let me tell you, those pros will never outwin the con. But the pros are always, look at me, I'm confused. The pros are always going to surpass the cons in your life. But all you focus on is the negativity. Because secretly, you don't want to keep going because of fear, because of the unknown, because now you're going to be uncomfortable because you won't be sitting in your comfort zone. So it's a lot of bullshit that you're going to have to untangle, but it's something that is going to be so worth it in your life. So, be the best you can possibly be at any given moment. And if you don't know who you are, start looking, because everyone that comes on here, we see it. We see it. The commitment you make, because every time you come on this show is a commitment you're making it to yourself to learn a new word, a new phrase, a new idea, or to see, what is it? What's out there? Am I going to agree with it or not? But it's still, you're showing up. It's a commitment.
Yep.
Turn around and just make that commitment to you. Start writing stuff down. Start listening to stuff. If you don't if you've never written or anything, start it. It's about change. Go and fill out how many pens. I take my time buying a pen because I'm very particular with pens.
Me too.
So maybe you haven't written because you haven't found the right utensil to write with. Could be as simple as that. Maybe every time you wrote, it was somebody's cousin's sister's mother's pen they left over the house. And the ink wasn't dark enough. So you're like, I don't like to write. It takes too much. Ever think of it that way? Well, there you go. Go to the dollar store. They have a lot of pens. And buy different ones. And then discover what it is. Your flow. Discover how your flow grows and glows and creates because of a certain type of ink or the thickness or thinness of a pen. It's that simple, mi gente. So let's get out there, to enjoy good health, to bring true happiness, to bring peace at all. One must first discipline and control one's mind. And that one control you should discipline yourself to having is to being better than you were yesterday. And that's it. That's all I got.
Right. Well, wonderful. So thanks everybody for being here today. And believe it or not, next week, Tuesday is the last day for Viva in January. Imagine that. Next week is the last. It's not even a full week. So we're going to talk about. It's going to be a recap of the whole entire month, and the title is "Are You Woke?" So we want to know if you woke up, because remember, the January was the awakening. So we want to see if you woke up. So contemplate this weekend, sit with yourself and decide. And if you're not quite there yet, I mean, it's not like we're going to leave you in the dust and leave you in February and not allow you to wake up. We're going to keep pushing you to wake up. You may not fully wake up for another couple of months. And that's just the way it is. But you know what? We'll be there to welcome you when you do. Because we've all been there, and at any given moment we have to reawaken, which is where I am right now.
We all do. It doesn't matter, if you have a PhD, a professor, a philosopher, a sage. We will always learn something new when we are awakened, when we have decided to see things for what they are, meet them where they're at, and then place them where they belong in our lives. So with that, gente,
thank you so much, everybody. Have a great weekend. From the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, mi gente, remember to breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.